Hey ManCave, this is Bob from DaBob's N-Scale ManCave, and today it's time for another pro tip. And the pro tip is to watch this video, because there's a bunch of pro tips in the video. I was building a model railroad for a client last month and put out a bunch of pro tips and put it on my Facebook page only. And there's a link down below for you to subscribe to that so you can see more pro tips when I do put more pro tips out. That's the pro tip. So grab some popcorn, sit back, watch some pro tips and a few other things too. Hey ManCave, this is Bob from DaBob's N-Scale ManCave. Today I'm at an undisclosed location, soon to be disclosed of course, but we're going to be making a layout. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of wood just stacked up kind of haphazardly. We're going to clean this up along with the rest of this big room in here and get a layout built over the next 2 weeks. So sit back and enjoy. These people don't have no clue what's about to happen to them right now. It's like 6:30 in the morning. I'm going to start making some noise. Let's go. Well, I woke them up this morning with some hammering and a lot of destruction of this door and wall that was in here. And so it's a project. It wasn't unexpected. And now I just need to take out these studs. And the house will not fall down. This is not a load-bearing wall. So don't worry about it. Bob the Builder tip for the day. Make sure you don't screw your fingers together. Really hurts. Okay, it's DaBob with another ManCave pro tip. Always know where your products come from. It's very important. Sometimes you get inferior products like screws. You know, I bought some screws in 2014 to build a layout with and never had any problem putting those screws into the wood. They didn't strip. You know, the head would stay nice and square for a Phillips head, and they'd come out. I could reuse them and reuse them and reuse them. Eventually, they might wear out, but I'd say 90% of them were good. Today, same brand, all those screws pretty much will strip. Why? Made in China. Inferior metal. So, I have to go look for other screws somewhere else. It's kind of hard to find because, you know, they just don't make them in a wide variety everywhere. So you have to spend more money on your materials. So next time you have something bad, make sure you know where you got it from. And where I got my products seem to be pretty good. Till next time, ManCavians, that's been another pro tip. Bye. Hey ManCavians, it's Bob with another ManCave pro tip of the day. After a long morning of building a layout, cutting and sawing and screwing in the wood together and all that good stuff and measuring and yada yada yada, all that fun stuff you got to do, you got to take time for your body. Get something to eat. It's now lunchtime. Time to get something in the body, and I'm going to grill some burgers right here, outside here on the deck. No, this is not my deck. Somebody else's deck. I'll let you know that later. But I'm going to get some burgers. Kind of get all the sun's starting to come out. A little cloudy and humid. So, tip of the day is to eat a lot of food when you can and drink a lot of water. But always have fun building your layout. Time can just run away with you and you forget to eat. Got to do that. Till next time, ManCavians. See you later. Have fun building your railroad. Hey ManCavians, I need some serious help. Seriously, I've been stuck in this house for like a whole week. I don't know where I'm at. This guy has been keeping me captive here, building his layout. I've no idea what I'm supposed to do or who to call. I mean, I've no idea who he is or what he wants. He keeps changing his mind. And oh no, I think he sees me. No, I think he hears me. I gotta go. I need help. I need to get out of here. There's a big boy to catch in St. Louis, and I've got to get out of here. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, here he is. Hey ManCavians, this is Bob with another pro tip of the day. I know it's been a couple days since I put one of these out, but I just wanted to show you another one. Now, some people have asked me, where do you come up with these tips? Well, usually it's something I run into that makes my life easier. It couldn't make your life easier. Like, it's common sense sometimes. Some people use a hammer and a screwdriver as a chisel to chisel notches into wood or knock rocks out of tires, for all I know. There's all sorts of different uses for a tool. Is it the correct use for the tool? But hey, if it works, it works. One of these items is moving large, heavy objects. Like some of the wood for this layout needs to be moved from one side of the room to another side of the room, and I've got a lot of plywood to move. So how do you do it? Let me show you. One of these tools over here is a furniture dolly. Yeah, furniture dolly. Just put the plywood up on the furniture dolly, wheel it around on the floor, move it to where you need to move it. I can carry 3 or 4 of these sheets of plywood on that furniture dolly. Real easy. And it really makes sense because all this plywood is future furniture. I'm making a bench. Bench is furniture. Tables are furniture, all sorts of stuff, right? It's future furniture. Use a furniture dolly. Perfect sense, right? I think so. So there you go, ManCavians. Another tip of the day. See you later. Bye. Hey ManCavians, this is Bob with another pro tip from the ManCavian president. Sponsored by JLOE 2000 on YouTube. And, of course, scaletrains.com. But they didn't pay for any of this. But I'm going to give it a plug anyway, because they're just down the road from where I'm at right now. Anyway, the tip of the day, it's not really a tip, it's more of a kind of a little lesson that most people seem to forget and seem to project onto others that they could do something faster, or this should be done quicker. I could do this, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't always work that way. Michelangelo did not just sculpt the David in a day, even though a 3D printer probably could have done it, right? No, doesn't work that way. So basically, you have so much time that you want to allot to a project. Let's say you want to build something for your model railroad, like some building or something like that. And you can only work, maybe on that project about 5 hours a week, and it's on a Saturday. Okay, you don't have a lot of time that you can allot to building that model. Especially when that model may take you, 100 hours of work. You're building it from scratch. Or are you building it from a kit? The level of effort that you have to put into that project is directly proportional to how much time it's going to take for you to do that. How much time do you want to put into this project? And what kind of quality do you want to have at the end? So, let's put it this way. You want to make a model of Union Station. And you've decided that I'm going to go down and pick up the Walthers kit and build the model as the instructions say. Okay, I'm not going to look at what I'm going to do afterwards with it. I have a place I want to put it on my layout, but I'm just going to build the kit as the instructions say. I'm not going to paint it, not going to weather it, I'm not going to modify it in any way. I'm not even put decals on it. You know, you're just building the model, right? That's just the basic skill level that you need to do that. Your level of effort is going to be at minimum. It's not going to be a hard model to make, and you'll get done relatively quick. Now, what's the next level of effort? It's about a medium. So you want to take that same model, but I'm going to modify it in some way. I'm going to add on to the structure a little bit, and I'm going to probably paint it a little bit different color. I'm going to put some decals on it. I may even, do a couple other little weathering kind of things with that particular model, and then put it on my layout. It's just a little upgrade. It's a little more advanced and so forth, but it's not impossible to do. So now you go into probably the next level. It's not quite the top level, but it's pretty much a different build. Let's say you're going to mod this thing and you're going to make it look like the actual building that it is. Now, if you didn't know, that particular model is modeled after the Burlington Station in Omaha, Nebraska, which is now the Channel 7 TV station. And if you look at that particular building, it's different than the model. But, the whole orientation is different. So you're going to try and model what it actually looks like. You're going to have to add in some windows. There's 5 windows on the side instead of 3, which the model includes. So I'm going to buy a couple models. I'm going to scratch build, and I'm going to modify. I'm going to make it look more prototypical. I'm going to add this. I'm going to put modern cars in the parking lot, and you're going to do all sorts of different things, and you're going to make this scene look a lot more realistic. That's the higher end level. It's a higher level of effort. And then you get the guys that want to scratch build. They want to scratch build this thing. They want to make it the same way, very prototypical, but they're going to scratch build everything from scratch, make an interior, they're going to light it, they're going to put people in it, they're going to put tables and chairs and all sorts of stuff. They're going to just deck out this particular thing. They may even make it into a TV station like it is right now. So, what do you know? That's a level of effort. Now, do you think that's going to be a job that's going to take the same amount of time as just buying the plastic model and putting it together? No. It's going to be a higher amount of level of effort and detail. You have a lot of things to consider when you're going to do that. If you're just going to slap something together, sure, anybody can do that. Get some glue, some nippers to break apart pieces, and glue it together. Set it on a shelf somewhere. Look at it as you walk by. You don't actually do anything with it. It does nothing except show that you completed a module or a model. So, there are people out there who think that they do these things a certain way in their own life and say, hey, I could have built that faster. Hence, there's this one guy who said they could have built this whole layout here in 3 days. And he also said that it would be fully scenic and tracked at museum quality in 100 hours. Yeah, not going to happen. Not by yourself, it ain't. Heck, it won't even happen if you have 100 people working on it. That only happens in TV, where they take months to build the thing and then they film it and it's all done in an hour. Extreme Home Edition. Look it up. Anyway, that's been my rant / tip. Always put your level of effort that you're willing to do into your project. If you want your stuff to last a long time, you have to increase the quality, which also increases the time and also the money in some cases to do that same project. If you want it to last a long time, you got to increase the quality. If you don't care, just buy the cheapest stuff and throw it together. No one's going to see it. It may fall apart in about a year or maybe 6 weeks, but that's your choice. Anyway, that's been my rant. Thanks for watching. And as always, ManCavians, happy mile railroading. And if you're near to the big boy, stay off those tracks, will ya? I don't like to clean up body parts. Bye. Hey ManCavians, this is Bob with another ManCave Pro tip. While building your layout, always plan ahead. You know, I've kind of said that before, but in this case, I am ready to start putting the tops down on this layout, and there's some things you probably should take care of before you put the top down. One of those is to drill holes in your framework. Why? Because you're going to have to run your bus line and other feeder lines through these holes under your layout. So as you can see, I've got these holes drilled through the boards all down here. You got to do that first, otherwise you got to break out the knee pads, you know? Got to break them suckers out. Why? Because this is cement floors, and if you don't drill ahead of time, you're going to be praying to the under the layout gods on your knees while you're drilling holes in the dark, because there's no light under there, because you covered it up with boards, and thus it is dark. And so it's probably a good idea to kind of do that ahead of time. Since this layout was not quite planned out according to how I would do it, what I would do is I would run the bus lines through the holes before I put the tops down. That way, I've got all that wiring put in there. Makes it a lot easier later on. I can pre-wire some things and get all that main bus line in there, attach a bunch of feeder connections if you're using suitcase connectors and all those kind of things. You don't have to be on your knees needing knee pads. See? Plan ahead. Do things in a certain order so you're standing up or being able to sit down. If you got a stool, that might help. If you got one of those little wheelie stools that you work on your car with, that works too. But if you don't have that stuff, you're going to be on your knees. That's my tip. Thanks, guys. Next time, I should have a little bit more done here on this. Take care. Bye. Oh. Hey, ManCavians. This is Bob with another pro tip. While building your layout, you are in the process of putting in a circle for a turntable. So this happens to be an HO turntable circle. And you've cut it into your plywood, and you got a frame that goes all the way around this circle. Okay. And you didn't really mark it very well. It's, you know, if you did mark it, you marked where the boards are, it might be underneath. You can't really see that. So how do you figure out where the boards are? Well, you can take your tape measure, you can use your finger, you can, kind of look and eyeball it and guess, because you're going to put some screws in up here and all the way around to kind of mount this in place so it doesn't move around. So here's a little trick that I learned. And you probably got to go back to your basic math number lines when you were in grade school, probably first, second grade kind of thing. And you learned that you got a number line, just like a ruler, right? Just like a ruler. You got all those little marks on there, right? And you got all those little division marks in between each of the numbers. So you can divide up your halves and your quarters and your eighths and your sixteenths and sometimes your 32nds. If you really want to get technical and deep down on measurements, you can do that. So the 1x4s you have are not actually 1 inch by 4 inch. They're 3/4 inch by 3.5 inches in length and width. So I've got 3/4 inch board a certain distance away from the edge of this hole, and I need to find it. Well, what I do is I just stick in the ruler and I measure how far in it is. And this one is about 2.5 inches. Okay, so if I add 3/4 inch to that, 2.5 to 3/4, I have 3.25 inches. Okay, that's the farthest away this screw could go. So how do I find the center of that screw? Well, I know 0.75 or 3/4 inch, half of that. How do you figure that out? Well, it's real easy. What is half of 3/4? Well, half of 3/4, all you got to do is half the 4. If you take 4 of anything and you cut it in half, you now have 8 pieces. So now it's 3/8. You don't change the numerator, you change the denominator. So that's 3/8. So 3/8 is halfway between 3/4. Quick and easy way to figure it out. You just stick it in, find the inside edge, which was around 2.5, add 3/8 of an inch, and now you have the center of that board you need to screw into. And that's where you put it. It's an actual tip. If you didn't quite realize it, all you gotta do is do a little math, look at your number lines and go, hey, Bob's right. Till next time, ManCavians, this layout's almost done. See you next time. Bye. The building of the light bulb in that area right there. Last piece goes in there. And here's the layout plan as modified, the yard and everything else. Let's take a trip through that layout. Going across that first bridge and going around the area where the time saver yard would be, going over to programming track area and going across another lift bridge and head around this corner here and hard left, go through a couple switches, crossover switches right in this area, hang another left, go across a double bridge in this little gully here. Hang a little left and jog around this wall and over here to where the auto rack yard will be. It'll be a little bit smaller with those posts in the way. And we head through about the middle of the yard and come over to the other side to meet up with the other yard that's right in this area as well. And then we'll be taking a smooth right turn and another smooth left turn and go all the way around the turntable and roundhouse area. It's a big turn. And then coming into some switching areas and another curve to go back across the bridge. Now we're going to go take a trip down the light bulb, the staging yard. There'll be a reverse loop in here, and so it's going to go all the way around the light bulb part of it, the big circle, and come back into the back end of the yard. So all this stuff will be yard for various rolling stock. Come back out of the yard, and there we are. So I hope you enjoyed all the pro tips. Yep, I was building James Wright's layout in his basement of his house, and it turned out fairly well. There's a few things in there that I wish I could probably redo, and you know, maybe it will happen. I don't know, but that's a later date. That's a later time. You know, it's his layout now, so if he wants some changes, you know, we can make some changes later on. There's always time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the pro tips and got that tour of his layout with the camera dolly view, you know, rolling around out there. That was pretty neat. And so it's a work in progress, but hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, ManCavians, happy model railroading. Stay off those tracks. Bye.